This video is tailored to those who are diving into welding and you want to learn who exactly you're learning from. My history of your welding coach, Hog on TV, Hog on Welding, the richest welder. All of those titles ties into one person, and that's me, fam. So I wanted to talk to you briefly this rising about my journey. I had one of my students leave a message and just said, hey, going forward, a lot of students that's coming into the field now, they would like to know more about you. I have many videos out already telling my story, giving some direction of how I got into it, but this particular video is actually going to be live, and I just wanted to be transparent. Maybe someone might pop in, and I just want to kind of tell you my journey, because my 21 years of welding started as an inmate to a welding director. So being a welding director, a welding supervisor now, I started from an inmate. Ground zero, fam, ground zero. And I want to take you down this journey of how I got introduced to welding. I'm gonna be transparent and realistic with you. I went to prison. I got incarcerated in '96, and ended up going to prison at Werner Unit. And during this time, we called Werner Unit the Gladiator School. So for those who want to know what I got incarcerated for, I was incarcerated for drugs and robbery. No, I didn't murder anyone. No, I didn't take advantage of anyone. I was always trying to get some money, fam. I grew up in a poverty situation, and I just hustled. I ain't know no better, fam. You got to think that when I started these charges, I started getting into the system, getting charges from the age of 12. And at that time, I had made it to 16 years old, and I was facing a 14-year sentence, and I had to do 10 years. I had to do a whole decade of my life, 10 years of my life in a cell, from 16 to 26. And while I was down there incarcerated, family, you know, prison is a different aspect. It's a different animal than it is now than when I went. When I went, family, it was gladiator school. You couldn't be weak. You couldn't be soft. If you was going to get eat up by the lions or the bears, the tigers, or whatever's in there. They're going to eat you up, fam. So when I went to prison, I was a young man. I had long hair, but I was from the streets. And I always believed in standing up for myself and being a stand-up person. I never was the type of person to take advantage of anyone, but I'm going to most definitely stand up for my rights and my manhood. And when you go into prison, at the time when I went, it was part of the culture that someone is going to come and try you to see if you are a man for real. Yes, we know that your mama said you're a boy, and we know the doctor said it too. But when you go to prison, during the time when I went, the early 90s, someone is going to test you and say, hey, well, let us find out, are you really a man? Sometimes it be people from your own neighborhood. Sometimes it just be random guys that's been there for 15 and 10 and 20 and plus years. But these are reality when you come to prison. Now, I wasn't directly approached, but someone that walked through the door with me overheard the conversation of them talking about what they wanted to do to me. This pretty guy with this long hair, dark skin, looked like he got some Native American in him, man. For real, this is the type of conversations. I'm like, huh? So once I found out, I went to one of my OGs that I respected, and I asked him for a blade, a knife. I said, hey man, if you give me this piece of this item to protect myself, I'm going to use it. And the OG told me, this is what he told me. He said, youngster, I'm gonna give it to you, but don't let me give you this and you don't do nothing with it now. I said, yes, sir. And I got it. And I ended up stabbing a guy, family, approximately 13 times or more to protect myself as a juvenile, because this guy and some more guys was planning on raping me. So I waited till it was chow time in the chow pill when you was going to lunch, and I waited till the commotion was done. Since he wanted to do something to me privately, I made an example out of him publicly in front of everybody. And that's what I did, fam. I came in there a man, I was leaving as a man, and I was willing to die to defend myself. So I got into contact with this guy. I ended up stabbing him. He ended up having to get flew out with a helicopter. They ended up having to fly him out to save him. I went to the hole. During the time while I'm I think this was a Thursday because Friday because the next day was a Saturday. I went to visitation. I remember being the next day. So my mother found out about this information, fam, and she was so worried about her baby. She was like, these folks might take advantage of her baby. They might rape her baby. She don't know what's going on. All she know, I'm young and these guys is old and grown, and she don't know what's gonna happen. Once she found out from some officers that actually worked at the unit, spreaded the word, because I was in Vernon unit, so a lot of people there working was from Dumas and Deramart and McGee and Lake Village. They was from these towns in Pine Bluff that my family are known. So they spreaded the word and let everybody know, Lil Joe gonna be okay. That's what they called me, Lil Joe gonna be okay. You know, and my mom was so excited. She said she rests well that night and she woke up ready to give me a message, fam. And you won't believe the message that she gave me. You know what she told me when she seen me? She hugged my neck and she was happy when she seen me. She said, son, I'm glad you took care of yourself. I'm glad you defended yourself. I know you're gonna be okay. I'm not worried about you like that. But then she said she got to thinking, okay, I know he's gonna defend himself. I know he's gonna be okay, but I gotta give him some knowledge, something he can seek to change his direction, or he's still gonna be on the same path. So you know when she came to prison and told me, fam, Welding. She said that morning, ironically, on her way getting ready to come and visit me, she seen a Tulsa Welding School commercial. How ironic is that? Tulsa Welding School commercial that was talking about how welders can be felons, how they can travel, they can later be teachers, they can build things, turn businesses, all of this stuff. And it just blew her mind when she heard this one statement about the welders. They can make up to $100 an hour or more. She knew I was from the streets, I'm a hustler, so she was like, oh, this is for my son, he need to hear this. And she gave it to me, fam. My mom wasn't a welder. My mom wasn't an educator. My mom was someone who loved her baby, loved her child, and she just wanted to give me a different direction in life. She wanted to give me something I could use to save me. So that's why she introduced welding to me, fam. I was 16, 17 when I got that. It wasn't until I was 21 years old until I entered the welding program at Vernon Unit. I was 21, fam, when I got into it. So sometimes you'll get a dream. And I want to highlight this. Sometimes someone might speak something to your life, and it might be 2, 3, up to 5 years before you actually see this thing come to pass. I heard Ice Cube say, if you're not willing to be dedicated for something at least 5 years without getting paid, I don't think you're ready for it, fam. I didn't understand it now, but I do now. I was dedicated. Those 5, 6 pieces of paper she sent me from the local library, because at that time the internet wasn't just jumping like that, so she went and got some copies out of a encyclopedia. So she basically just gave me some fundamentals of welding, some terms, some history, a little background. And I hold on to it, fam. I put that in my heart. That was my Bible. You know what I mean? Until I went into that class at 21 years old. Now let me tell you something that's so peculiar about this. When I actually went into the welding program, the welding supervisor that was there, he used to come in there and close the curtain and say, hey, Joe, you done did this before. You just coming in here to get a piece of paper. I said, man, nah, fam, I've been holding on this for years. I've been having a desire to do it. I really want to do it. That guy really didn't believe me. Until after he got to watch, I was in the book, I'll watch the videos, I go back to the booth, like I was teaching myself. And then me and another guy, shout out to Jamel Jackson, we ended up getting sharp. He's from Cleveland, Ohio. Shout out to him, hope that brother's doing well. Me and him was sharp, and the iron sharpens iron. You know what they say, in the booth, he'll run a well, I'll run a well. Man, mine look better than yours, man, mine look better than yours. That's what we was doing. We was getting better. And you know what happened, fam? By the time I graduated, I did so good, I became an instructor then. That welding supervisor that was there, he hired me to help me teach the other people that was there in prison in the welding. I took it so good that not only did I learn the 4 processes, MIG, TIG, stick that he was teaching us, I also learned how to do pipe welding. I learned how to bevel pipe. I learned how to cut pipe. I learned how to fit pipe. I learned, I did so much fitting it and doing it, in 6G positions, the fixed 5 position. He was teaching me because he was a master pipe welder. He told me, he said, son, I'm gonna give you something because I see you hungry. And if you pick up this, you would never have to worry about a job again. This man taught me that. And not only did he teach me how to pipe weld, you know what else he taught me? Fabrication. We was building trailers. Now he said he was building them for friends, whatever, trying to help him out. But I think he had some type of corporation going on. We was building these things like he was hooking everybody up. But we learned so much on how to fit, how to weld, what it need to look like, what it need to, the painting, the whole process. Like we learned so much, and it was so cool doing that, fam. So that's my journey, fam. And then after I graduated, fam, I ended up working for the prison in maintenance. So it was a prison ward, and I got to give him his flowers. I heard he passed away years ago. His name was Warden Tony. So for those who know Warden Tony in Arkansas Park, Department of Corrections, that was a great man, fam. That man gave me an opportunity. I had to go in front of the clarification board, and I told that man I wanted to go to Votech. I told him what my mom had told me and what I wanted to do, and he looked at me, he said, I'm gonna send you to Votech because I believe you really gonna go over there and do it. And when you come back, you gonna come back and work for me? I said, yeah. And I came back, that man gave me a job in maintenance. I was the only black dude in maintenance. That's how my first journey started, because I ended up being the only black guy skilled on a lot of my jobs throughout my life. And I'm 45, I'll be 46 this year in March. A lot of jobs that I've showed up to, I was the only black guy there skilled. That was my first start right there, fam. And it changed my life. It changed my life, fam. We have to start somewhere, but that's how I started, fam. So when I was able to get out, I used my work ethics, fam, in that prison, and I had a chaplain. Shout out to Newport, Arkansas. I got out of the Newport, Arkansas prison. There was a chaplain there who he was a pastor also of a church there in Newport. And I witnessed this man all the time. He'll come down, talk to me. There was a great man, fam, great man. Come down and talk to me all the time. And this man told me, he said, Joe, I've been watching you. I got a guy that's on my board, on my deacon board, and he got a business that do welding. I'm gonna see if I can talk to him and get you a job. That brother got me a job, fam. He told me this, I'm gonna get you through the door. You're gonna have to do the rest of it. Fam, them folks gave me a job, started me at $8 an hour. I was skilled. This is my first welding job out of prison, 2006. Now, let me state this too for the record. I got out on a Friday from prison after doing 10 years. I got out on a Friday. I was working Monday. Fam. I was great. I was trying to get to the bag. Dude, like, man, you want to take a week off? I just did 10 years off. Forget a week. I've been off. I'm trying to get to some money. You know what I mean? So I dived into it, fam. I was so hungry that I ended up learning so much and digesting. And let me tell you what happened, because I got to highlight this. I went from $8 to $10 within 2 to 3 weeks. Now, normally, where do you know they give a person a $2 raise at? They don't do it like that, fam, because they knew they was underpaying me. But the foreman would say, hey, man, this guy good. He just got out. He hungry. He show up on time. We need to take care of him. He going to be a team player. When I left there, I was making $11, and then I went up and up. But that job, fam, changed the trajectory of my life. And it was in Newport, Arkansas. The company is no longer in business, but it was called Tailor Made Ambulances. I got the opportunity to see my first NBA game from that company. Free tickets, fam. And we was in the skybox, like, for real. Like, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, man, I was just in prison. Now I'm in the skybox. From the skills, fam, from the skills. I can't make it up, fam. I can't make it up. So my journey has been very exciting, fam. Very exciting. And right now, presently, I'm at Arkansas Baptist College. I'm inside of the Meta 24 welding lab, fam. And I've been putting it together. I've been designing it. I've been ordering stuff. I've been getting material together, fam, so that way we can kick off this program. And we having a block program here at Arkansas Baptist. You can learn TIG welding. You can learn MIG welding and flux core. You can learn stick welding by itself. And then the fourth one going to be pipe welding. We're gonna have 4 blocks, fam. You don't have to learn everything in one time. You pick what you want. 6-week block, 7-week block, 6-week block, 16-week block. You see what I'm saying? So my goal is to educate and not just be the one doing everything, but creating a system. Creating a system where I can be able to go to other cities and duplicate the same process, because we know that this school to work pipeline has been broken for a while. We've been trying to patch it and do all type of things, but I just want to create a new way. And I want to create a new way of teaching out of love, out of examples, out of people who literally live that life. Because those who lived it, especially if they want to see someone change, they have a better chance at really moving the youth, at really motivating them and educating them. They'll listen to you because they don't, I heard a guy say one day, and I got to say this. He said, have you ever heard the saying, monkey say, monkey say? You never heard that saying, have you? Monkey say, what is it? Monkey see, monkey do. So the reality of it, you have to lead by example. You have to love by example. You can say a whole lot, but they need to see the love. You see what I'm saying? So I have learned when you're dealing with this culture, this generation, people coming out of high school, coming out of prison, changing careers, they want to be real. They tired of watered down things. They tired of meeting people that has no substance, that's lying, I'm never saying I'm the best of everything, but I can get the best information and we can digest this information together. I don't have to critique each student in the booth. Everybody have their own passion, their own dreams and desires. I'm gonna give you the tools and the information, and you're gonna do the same thing that my mama did to me. My mama inspired me. And I have restored her home in McGee, Arkansas. I have traveled from South Carolina to Washington State, all off a trade that was introduced to me. This company I'm wearing, Lexicon, this is one of my favorite companies. And you know why? And a lot of people wonder why did they see me wear Lexicon. No, Lexicon isn't paying me. I'm not a part of the brand. You know what I mean? Maybe in the future though, but I'm not part of the brand. But they gave me an opportunity, fam. And I never forget the people who opened the door for me when I was trying to get up. They did that, fam. And that's why I still promote them, because when I got out of prison, fam, and I made it to Little Rock, they gave me a job, fam. They gave me an opportunity. I never forget that supervisor. He said, I let him know, man, I'm getting out of prison, I'm doing this, but I show up. And he seen my wells, and I was coming in every day, fam. I impressed him, fam. And when I left there, I didn't get a chance to make big money. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be at it. But at the time when I was working there, that was good money. I was making $18 an hour when I was there. And it was, like I say, when I got out of prison. A little shortly after I got out of prison. So it was good money. The only reason I left Lexicon, because I moved to Northwest Arkansas to Fayetteville. And that's when another part of my life opened up, and that's where I actually started my business at years later. I started working up there, and I ended up starting Hog On Welding in 2016, and it was established as a business in 2017 in Phoenix, Arizona, May the 25th. So May the 25th, fam, is when I established Hog On Welding. And then later, when I came back to Arkansas after living out there and coming back, getting closer to my son, I took a position. Now, I want to step back. The whole time I was in Phoenix, I was teaching privately. On side of my RV, I had an RV out there. I was doing private sessions. I was also helping companies teach and train people on their job to do flux core, to do stick welding, to do construction. So I was doing that. But when I came back to Arkansas in 2022, I took a position at the Goodwill Academy, and I was the lead welding instructor there. I did that for almost 2 years, like a year and a half and some change. But I graduated about 5 classes there. And the only reason I left there was to go to Georgia. I ended up transitioning over. I ended up leaving the state and getting ready to start another business there, but the school didn't go off. Like, things happened, and so the school didn't open in Georgia, and I ended up coming back here, and I'm here now. Since that situation didn't open up. There's still opportunities there, but it didn't quite open. And I have been talking to Dr. Fitzhill, because he came to the graduation at the Goodwill Academy on my last graduation, my 5th graduation. He came there as one of my guest speakers. He was so impressed with hearing my story and how I molded those young men and women that he had an ideal and a vision with the Meta 24 welding program. To not only just give a person degrees, because this is a college, not only give you a associate's degree and a bachelor's degree, but you can get a GED. You can start from somewhere. You got to start from ground zero. They're giving you a GED, and they're giving you skills. So they're giving you the skills that can pay your bills. They're giving you the degrees. So now, say if you graduate from college and you got a business degree, what skill do you have with it? I can weld. I can do clothing. I can do podcasting. I can do esports. I can do 3D graphics. That's what they're doing here, fam. So for this to come a big hole, fam, my life has come in a circle now. So for me to be here now, I'm humble, fam. I'm humble, fam. I don't know where life is going, but I know it's going to keep going good for me because I've been putting in the work. So for those who learning from me, for those who listening to this video, fam, I am dedicated to the trade. I'm dedicated to helping people change. I'm dedicated to getting information and giving information. I'm dedicated to leading by example, fam, because we can't reinvent the wheel. So we got to use the trade. And welding is a trade, fam, that helped me get the wheel rolling. Once you get the wheel rolling, fam, you get you some money, you're gonna have to learn financial literacy to keep the money, because you're gonna blow it. I did too, you know what I mean? But then once you create a system, now you can start living better. See, one thing I learned, when you're creating a business from your passion and you don't have the finances coming in, you're gonna run out of money, you're gonna get frustrated. You have to create a system, and that's what I learned with Your Welding Coach. Not only am I teaching you how to weld, but I'm teaching you how to learn financial literacy and build systems. And so we can keep the process going from real estate to shipping container conversions to ebooks, the whole nine, fam. I want to teach you how to build systems. We can't reinvent the wheel, but we got to get started. That's why this channel is so valuable, fam. That's why I'm transparent. That's why I try to be open and honest, because my journey is, fam. You know, the only way I'm gonna help people is if I really be transparent and I really be real. So I meet people where they are at. I don't care if you're homeless. I don't care if you're in the $1 million house. I have had conversations with everybody, fam. And one thing I know, you know, we all have a common goal. We all trying to get somewhere, and we all want to live out our purpose. We want to, you know, that's a lot of people that really want to help people, really want to position themselves to help their families. Whatever your goal is getting started, fam, I just want to meet you where you are and give you some assistance. So for those who have been following me for a while, you know I got ebooks available. You can hit the link inside my YouTube. I'm actually put some links inside the video once I'm done. But I appreciate the love and support, fam. And like I say, I'm in Arkansas Baptist College now. I'm 45, about to be 46 in March. And hey, man, this has been my 21-year, going on 22-year journey in March of me being out, fam. And I'm excited. I'm excited, fam, and I appreciate those who've been following the journey. I appreciate those who've been following me on Instagram. It's Your Welding Coach on Instagram, Your Welding Coach on TikTok, you know what I mean? Your Welding Coach on Facebook, you know what I mean? Your Welding Coach on LinkedIn, or my name, Joel Brown Jr. Follow both, Joel Brown Jr., Your Welding Coach, Black Phoenix, Hog On Welding, Hog On TV, the richest welder. And my goal is to turn people into the richest welder. See, when I created that, it wasn't just a boast. I'm the richest welder. Nah, I want to help you do the same thing that I did. That's the whole goal, to get the skill that can pay your bills and put you in a better position that can change your life. That's the goal, fam. That's the goal. But we got to start from somewhere, and we can't reinvent the wheel. So for those who are looking for a great program, call and get signed up. Arkansas Baptist College, 501-420-1200. That's 501-420-1200. Arkansas Baptist College. Check out the Meta 24 program for those who are looking to get started with a GED. Call down here and check out their adult education, fam. They helping you, and they helping you get funded to get into the programs. That phone number is 501-420-1350. 501-420-1350. Call, get signed up. Put your kids in the loop, fam. If you can't do it for you, do it for them. Now is the time. Be blessed, continues to prosper. I'm out. Hold on.